February 23rd, Thursday.
Special guest today. How you doing, Mike?
Pretty good. Testing out our fancy new Extremo Vision. That's pretty neat.
Looks pretty cool. You know, we should patent that and copyright it and sell it to Bill Gates.
He can't have it. Do you want to do today or tomorrow?
Bring it at me, man. What do you got?
Roboy, a 3D printed robot with a skeleton with muscles and tendons.
A 3D printed robot with a... Holy God. Oh, that has to be real. And I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably from Japan.
Swiss and Austrian
researchers. They're also freaky.
It's a 3D printed, yeah. There's the prototype. They made it the other day.
Yes.
And you used 3D printers to print, like, the hand.
Yes.
And the fingers and the forearms are all printed as one part. They're all printed together, working.
Oh, crazy.
With the joints and everything like that. The project's called Roboy.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Robot.
That's happening right now?
Happening right now.
Oh.
Today.
Well, I guess we know who our new planetary overlords are going to be. You know what? That kind of makes me think of something. If I happen to be, I don't know, the King of America. King of America. I would decree from the marble slabs of the Oval Office that nobody should make a little robot boy because that shit is creepy.
4 feet tall.
I would offer no other explanation than that, and people would just have to go with that as that being the law for eternity.
How about Roman? You make a 6 foot tall or 10 foot tall robot? That'd be legal. Just not the 4-footers.
I don't know, man. Don't let the NBA figure out about that shit. All right, folks. Today on Coffee with Stripes, we have a special guest, my good personal friend, Sam Scharf. Sam Scharf, can you come to the office, please? Sam Scharf. Thanks for joining us today, Sammy.
Good afternoon.
Cool, man. So, you told me a couple of days ago you got something pretty cool happening, and I just wanted to have you down here to talk about it. I bet you have noticed, as I have, that there just seems to be an awful lot of there's basically a homeless city under the bridge. What do you think about that?
I have noticed, yes.
And it feels like it's just getting worse. And you look at it and you go, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do about this? And I hear that you have been planning to do something. You're gonna make a film about it. What can you tell me, Sam?
Well, we're doing a film about the making of a documentary.
Okay.
So we'd like to shed some light on what's been going on in town here. You walk around, you see people out in the cold all winter. the increase, even over the winter in these hard months, has been very noticeable. In the last year, it's filled up to. We took a walk a couple days ago, just around the block here.
Yeah.
You and I did.
Yep.
And we saw what was going on. It's very established, and it's a hardship. It looks like a post-apocalyptic movie or something. People are suffering.
It's like a third world country there.
It's like a third world country
and
with
growing,
RVs.
And it's growing and it's growing and it's growing. It used to just be a couple little RVs, and now it's a city. It's its own little town.
It's something you see. It's kind of interesting in that there's nothing really being acknowledged about the situation with the RVs.
Yes.
They're just sort of being overlooked and steered around. Everyone dodges
hidden
it.
under the bridge, tucked away.
Like no one can see them, right?
Tucked
and then,
away, no one in the condos.
And then there's a lot of tents. So the city actually passes out tents, which is a super kindness and a wonderful thing to do. But what's encouraging also in a way is that people have this option of, instead of getting any kind of help or instead of going to social services, which have granted quite a few shortcomings.
Well, let's just give them methadone and tents. Yeah, that's.
But that's not the case we're finding. As we go around and talk to people, it's not all methadone. It's not all.
I know.
It's not all. There are a share of
there's
people.
normal folks. I mean, the cost of living has been rising rapidly. They're trying to sell houses in Ballard for $500,000. I mean, it's getting pretty silly. People are getting priced out of where they live. They can't find affordable housing. If you're poor, your options suck. Like, you pretty much live out of your car, and so then you end up with just poor folks who never had an opportunity. And instead of there being any social, we have no social solution for this. Our social solution for folks that end up on the wrong side of money is you're gonna go to jail eventually. Like, that's really what it is, and it makes me sick. It makes me sick to see the richest country in the world with the most resources in the world, and we just treat a very small percentage of our population like shit. It's something that we could do.
Well, and that's the idea here, is that I've been hearing for a long time, everyone knows what the problem is. And so I hear all the time people, nobody wants these guys here. They want to run them out. And people do all kinds of bad shit that is really hard. You get to go meeting some of these people, and quite a few of them are pretty okay.
Yeah.
And they're
some of them are living it up down there. Some
well,
of them have no problem.
They're living it up, but they're cold.
Yeah.
And they don't have proper showers, and they don't have proper, and because it's a thing that makes it worse. So, like, you can't get a shower, so you can't get a job because you smell and you look dirty. And then it compounds to, like, maybe you have a problem. Maybe it's just alcoholism. Maybe it's, you're on heroin. Maybe it's none of those. A lot of those guys we ran into, frankly, were sober and not high on anything.
No.
But they're and then they have these little sections where they try to live apart, where they kind of keep their sort of garbage and their stuff up inside their rigs, but yet you go 100 feet this way and there's rats, garbage, and needles all over the ground. And honestly, with what we've been finding out, like, people from the city come to clean it up, then they get in trouble for, like, throwing out people's personal items, which they can't tell apart, honestly, oftentimes from rubbish, and they're being told to do it. The actual city workers are told not to do it, and as far as the
police,
it's a
big catch-22.
And the police don't want to go hassle these guys all the time. That's not really their job.
The end result is that we just have these huge heaping piles of shit and garbage on the corner.
It's not just the corner; it's blowing out into the road. You drive through it in your car coming down here. I mean, it's everywhere. Yeah. There's fires. There's people dying in their RVs.
There was a guy exploded a fucking propane tank a couple days ago. I mean, it's crazy.
It's all happening down here. So, hopefully, with the community somewhat coming together, which is what it seems. We've had a great response. We're actually having our first meeting tonight to put together our crew. We have an excellent film crew who I've worked with in the past. They do a very nice job. And we have all sorts of connections and people stepping forward. Everyone seems to want to help with the subject because we all know what's going on. There's no blaming the mayor, and there's no blaming any one person or entity. Well, there's a cumulative problem that's grown into a point where, like, if we don't address it at some point, we're we're terrible if we don't.
Yeah.
You know, we're building roads, we're doing all kinds of stuff.
The purpose of a society is to aid those who live within it, and so I mean, we can't really. You can't come on any type of moral high ground and ignore it. And I'm not saying that that's not the way it's been my entire life. All of us in this room, we've all been conditioned to ignore homeless people. Like we just go, oh, he's homeless. That sucks. That's, you know what I mean? We've all done that.
And we're going to try a new angle from our perspective. We certainly aren't sure if it's ever been done. I guess everything's been done once or more. But our idea is that after we finish the film and after it gets out and people have seen it, we're going to leave, basically a website where people can come and they can suggest ideas to help remedy this. You know, we're all for brainstorming and community thinking on how to improve this situation. We're not just looking to be totally an internal group suggesting things. We would like everyone to chime in. Good ideas are just that. They're good ideas. They should be executed. We have ideas for rewarding people with safe spaces to park their vehicles and electrical hookups in exchange for doing things like recycling at a maintained recycling station. We have things of like all these people in tents of we want to give them a better option. And right now, honestly, they don't have a better option.
They don't have one.
There are many social services that are run by heroes.
Yes.
They're in there every day. They're feeding people. I've personal friends involved in making sure that people are fed on the daily all over town. There's a lot being done.
I feed these guys over here all the time.
There's a lot being done, and those are great services. The problem is when people are at a certain level of dysfunction and they can't, and some people don't want to be like in a shelter. Maybe they have kids and they have a family they don't want to take to a shelter with a bunch of very troubled souls. And so you have all this mixture of people out here on the street, and it's everybody. It runs a gamut. So we're gonna light this up.
Yeah. There's working class people over there. There's Vietnam vets over there. There's just people who fell on rough times. There's people who are supporting sick family members inside of those RVs. And I can't imagine something more bleak. And it's just rough as hell. And there's no help. There's no help. These people are just out on their ass, and they're our America's our culture's remedy for them is that they're gonna die under that bridge. Like that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I mean, like it reminds me, like sadly, I was at the gas station up the street the other night, and I used to be in this building in Ballard called the FenPro building. And one of the guys there, he's this really funny Jamaican guy, really sweet, awesome guy. Always have a cup of coffee for you, always do something nice, like super outgoing, generous guy, and just a lot of light in his eyes. And I ran into him at the gas station the other day. He was grabbing the door for people and trying to get a few cents. And, it kind of put me in my shoes. I'm like, how you doing? And, I went in. I got him a pack of smokes, a couple bucks. But I'm like, come find me or I'll come find you, because it was heartbreaking. I'm like, how you doing? He's like, well, I'm here. I'm doing this shit. And it's kind of like, here's a guy I know. He's a full-on cabinet maker, you know, and he's some Jamaican guy. Poor guy's missing a couple of front teeth. He looks a little rough, and now he's just in some tent somewhere.
Just SOL. So we
got to do something.
We do got to do something. And Sammy, I think that bringing attention to it with your film will be a good thing. Now, my understanding is that you're still looking for a name for your film.
We are.
Tonight is his first meeting. He's meeting with everybody he's going to be involved with in the making of this film. If any viewers of Coffee with Stripes have any contributions in that matter, go ahead and email them over to stripes@coffeewithstripes.com, and we'll send them on over to Sammy. Let's see. So you're getting good cameras and stuff, right? You're getting it's Gene Marcus Stroll, right? Really?
Yeah, he's
I've heard of that guy. I've heard of you, Gene. All right, so let's see.
He's an amazing cinematographer.
So here's my personal question, Sammy. In your opinion, what would a solution? Well, you already discussed, giving people alternatives and giving them like something to help with the community in terms for having an easier living situation. But what in your opinion, would a solution to this look like?
Well, I mean, I would like to see incentive.
It's a tough question.
Well, I realize that, and that is the question. But I'd like to see the people be given an option. I mean, if I'm to broad stroke it without giving definitive things, like a broad stroke is you have to give someone a better option at the end of the day. So if your best option is to live with a pile of rats and garbage and old syringes next door to your door your path that you walk in and out of your home every day,
Indeed.
just waiting for the hammer to fall and kick you out so you have to move everything all at once. If you're waiting for that all the time, can you imagine? You have no electricity. Well, electricity you do come from gasoline.
You're a refugee in America.
In America. And, like, if that's the best option in their minds, then something's wrong.
Well, yeah.
And so sure, I have a bunch of ideas, but that's what this whole movie is about. It's about getting some light, getting some people together so that in the long run, I mean, one of the things we're suggesting, here's something I will throw out because I want this to be known, is that we're talking about a Sunday meetup where we're going to request from the city that they provide us dumpsters, or if we get our own trucks and can load them up with the garbage.
We can bring them over to the city hall.
We can bring Wouldn't that be funny?
I'm not kidding.
No, he is kidding. We could bring it to the dump, and they'd cover, like, our dump fees to, like, take it here to Rabanco. It's not far away. They have a main station.
Oh, yeah, it is right down the street.
If we could do something like that and get the cleanup going, because right now it's high hazard cleanup. It's very dangerous. There's
it's full of hypodermic
high
needles.
high risk of things like hepatitis, HIV.
Rats.
There are rats running around which have there's just a lot of issues.
Yeah.
And so we would get community volunteers to start with the cleanup, start providing a system for recycling, start rewarding recycling with something like, I almost think it shouldn't be money, but more like credits. And credits buy you like a power hookup, maybe somewhere under the freeway, maybe somewhere on some property. Our ultimate goal is to find and buy property to facilitate something like maybe a portable medical station so these people can get some medicine, and potentially a place where people can eat and do food. We don't want to be like Nicholsville, because I feel like those people seem like they're almost worse off there. And
well, you don't want them to get comfortable with a welfare situation,
Well, then that's where you bring in social services. But right now it's a day-to-day. Like, somebody needs a shower. They need to get a job. They want to. We should help them get that.
Yeah.
And they can't right now. They get on waiting lists. It's all like, it's an impossible line full of people who
Russian bread line.
It's a tough line. Yeah, I'm sure it's a tough line.
So, Sammy, personal question, man. What is your favorite color?
I like clown colors.
We'll come back to that.
I like clown colors.
All right, here's another personal question. If anybody else in the room wants to chime in on this one, go ahead. But and you know what? Don't limit yourself to just one thing. What's the craziest shit you've seen go down under the bridge? Okay. What do you got, Sammy?
I'm going to have to say the guy killing the bicycle for like half an hour. He killed a fucking bicycle to death. Big dude, angry, somewhere between 3 and 4 in the morning, he beat a bicycle into little pieces. He literally threw it at the pole and smashed on the ground for a good solid 30 minutes. And then he puked and went to sleep or something. I don't know. He disappeared.
One time I saw a guy drive through the intersection over here, driving a car that was missing like a bunch of panels, and he hit another guy that was riding his bike, but he was only driving like 2 miles an hour, and the guy that was riding his bike could totally see the dude in the car, and they just kind of ran into each other. And the dude fell off the bike, and then the guy in the car just kept driving. And the dude got back on his bike and rode up to the dude on the car and was like, "Hey, you hit me with your car." And the dude in the car, like, just hit him again and drove off. And I was like, holy shit.
Boy.
I mean, it's getting real down there. So, Sammy, do you have any leads on who you might be, or any hints? And you don't have to give any good stuff away, but any hints on who you might be interviewing for your film?
Well, I mean, we know that we have a group of people out there, and we're still discovering them, of course. But we've been walking around and figuring out who we would like to talk to. Of course, that can all change through the course of the movie. I mean, our idea here is to get some really like in-depth information about where these people come from, who they are, why they're here, what they used to be. And then we're going to try to go back a little bit in their lifetimes and see if we can recreate some of the experiences they had. And, you know, the thing about this is we're not trying to just make a movie about being down and out and homeless in Seattle. We're going to have some humor and, you know, it's like rainy day humor. There's triumph and tragedy, and we want to show those all the same. And hopefully what this will do is it'll bring enough people together to where we can effectively make a change that's going to show us a difference within the course of a short period of time. That's what we're doing.
Thank you.
Join us. We would love to have your help.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Sammy.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right, Mike's going to join us. We're going to play you guys out. This is the show, Coffee with Stripes. This is the show that you like. You write to us and ask us questions. We will read them and then answer them.